Hello and welcome back to We're Talking Tea. Tonight we will be getting into the Married to Medicine episode 13, season 12. And tonight we will be drinking on my favorite red wine, 14 Hands Hot to Trot. That's this. So let's get into it. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you do not miss out on the next time that we talk tea. So it started off with where they left off last week, with the men being by themselves, getting they were on the private beach and they were getting massages. And so it just kind of came where King was like, let's just let the women handle the women business. And that's just him telling Damon and Eugene, just leave it alone. Let the women handle it. So that was that. So the men kind of got their massages. What I didn't like was Mimi's husband, Stevie. He kind of reacted to the way Eugene left the conversation the night before, and he kind of walked off. And as he walked off, it almost like was a sachet, and I didn't like it because that's not how Eugene walked off. Of course, Bravo paying to it, and that's not what happened. That is not how he walked away. So Stevie, don't do that to Eugene because that's not how he was. So anyway, so Angel shared that she will be participating in the couples therapy later on that evening, and they will be having separate rooms. And so of course Heavenly was like, that's right girl, separate rooms. Quad asked who out of all the ladies who have a perfect marriage, and of course a perfect relationship, I'm sorry. And of course Heavenly was the only one that raised her hand. Quad also shared that she was proposed to by King, and she declined. She was like, she just wanted the family. That's it. All of the ladies shared in that situation where I think this was a different situation because this was during the couples night. So this situation, I think that was it. I think that was just the last night in Jamaica, and they were saying that it was going to be a theme neon night. So everybody go back to the resort, they get dressed, and they all come down in their neon, and everybody was absolutely amazing. It was super cute. But there was somebody that just did not go with the dress code. Mimi and Stevie did not. I don't think I saw them in the dress code. I might be wrong, but I want to say I didn't see them in the dress code. No, it wasn't them. I think it was Curtis. I think I saw Curtis with black on. And then, who else I saw? Or maybe that was Damon with black on. And then it was Angel and Bernard. They were in black and white. So, I guess they still dressed alike, but they didn't have on the neon for the neon nights. But anyway, so they played a game where Toya and Eugene asked the question, and it was men versus women, and then they had to hold up their phone to say who act like this the most. So a lot of the questions, it was mainly Toya and Eugene's being the answer to the question. But it was fun. It was lighthearted, and they didn't have any issue with it. They was like, okay, it is what it is. Next. So then it was Eugene had Dr. David, who's from Jamaica, to come and talk to the men. And then he said that Dr. Mimi would handle the women, which I'm not sure if that was the case or not. But when the women did do their break-off session, Dr. Heavenly asked the first two questions. I thought it was supposed to be Dr. Mimi. But anyway, so yeah, Dr. Heavenly asked two questions, and then Mimi asked a question. I think Toya may have asked a question, or Simone may have asked a question. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so during their breakout session, it was Simone sharing, because I forgot what the question was, but Simone had shared that her and Cecil had some difficult times, and she shared what those difficult times were. And then Mimi shared same thing about just her needing that affirmation from her husband, saying that she's doing a great job because it's difficult with her son having special needs. So that was good. I think Heavenly shared a little bit, and that's it. And then it went to the men being in their break-off session, and the guy asking him different questions. And it kind of, both times they kind of honed in on Quad and King. So they kind of went in on Quad, like, you're trying to give this man a child, but y'all are not even married. And they did the same thing with King, like, hey, you're not doing it the right way. You are supposed to get married first and then have the child. And Curtis was the one that kind of pointed that out, and everybody was like, Curtis, you don't have no room to say anything, so I'm gonna need you to not do that, because you've cheated on your wife, and that wasn't biblical. So yeah, so then Damon kind of just interjected it, and I think that everybody was getting ready to go, and they all kind of like huddled, and Eugene kind of walked over to Damon, and he was getting ready to tell him something. I think he said something, so to speak, like, I'm glad that we can talk to each other. He said, don't say nothing about my son. And Eugene was like, I wasn't going to say anything about your son. I would never go below the belt. That's not who I am, and that's not who we are. But I think he just automatically got defensive, like Eugene was going to use that as a trigger, because he had just shared something personal. So they kind of dapped it off. They hugged, and they kind of had a little moment and talked, and then that was it. So then everybody kind of came together, and Eugene and Toya toasted to a great night and a great couples trip, and it all went well. So I was happy to see that. It ended on a good note. I'm glad Toya and Eugene was able to host this trip, and it got along well for the most part. So kudos to them. I'm looking forward to the next episode, because I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. But at least everybody will be back at home, and then they can resume the mid-gala foolishness. Oh, and by the way, Stevie did say, oh, we're not participating. Me and my wife is not participating. We already give to a nonprofit, and she has already said that she hasn't been involved. So we're going to keep it that way. So count us out. And Curtis was like, you ain't got to give us no reason, no explanation. You don't want to be a part of it. That's fine. It is what it is. But let's just move on. So, yes, I'm looking forward to next week. We'll see how it goes. But that's the end of this episode. Until next time, we talk tea. Bye.